continue to talk about the job face of South Africa, and previously we spoke about how women are not getting the jobs in South Africa and they're opposed going to men instead. But here is something very, very worrying as well. According to recent statistics from Stats SA, unemployment in South Africa has risen significantly over the past 6 years. The unemployment rate among the youth aged between 15 and 34 has increased from 32.7% to 36.1%. That's between 2008 and 2014. The high rate of unemployment can also be attributed to the fact that the majority of youth lack the basic skills for unemployment. The SETA accredited Youth Skills Development Program empowers young people with it skills and career readiness, and are working with 250 participants around Diepsloot, Orange Farm and Alexandra. Joining us now, Tracy, Kotzen and Errol Pillay from Africa Tikkun. Is that right? Tikkun?
That's correct.
Good to have you. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we're hearing these statistics. They are very, very frightening when you look at the fact that the youth in South Africa, who are the future of the country, are not being employed. Is this sort of driving you to keep these campaigns going?
Yeah, I think from an Africa Tikkun perspective, we really want to look at how do we make a sustainable difference with the need for young people to go into jobs. Our organization really believes in two things that forms the major pillars. There's a holistic development program, that how do we develop young people holistically, because no young person develops in isolation.
Yeah.
That's the one thing, but also there needs to be a cradle to career approach to it. So our organization really operates from a cradle to career developmental approach that says that as this young person goes from an early childhood development, needs to go into schools, young people have to make decisions at grade 8 about their subject choices, about careers.
Yeah.
So if the intervention is not there, we're going to lose out. So it's very important for us as an organization, through the centers that you've listed, to make this impact. So we work with these young people really to make this difference. To make this difference.
But, you know, you find that there are, and Tracy, I mean, there's so many, I'm going to get thousands of tweets now telling me, yeah, but I am a graduate, I have got all the qualifications you're talking about, and yet I still can't find a job. Why is this the scenario?
Well, part of it is accessibility to what jobs are out there. The schooling system currently almost gives them a single-minded perspective of how to access. So you finish school, you go to varsity, you get a job. The students are not educated on the alternative routes. Community colleges are out there. There are other organizations like us who are also doing skills development in communities. There are many alternative options, and they just don't know about that. And then the second thing is that they don't know what subject choices to take to get into the career they really want to be in.
Yeah.
And then corporates who are hiring don't necessarily know where to find these youth. So the accessibility is problematic both ways.
Okay. All right, let's go back to the beginning. What exactly does Africa Tikkun do? Where do you come into all of this?
Okay. Our organization, as I said, is an organization that's been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
We start with really 6 pillars that we operate on. One is we develop young children in ECD phases, right through getting them school ready. When they go to school, the question that we ask is, where do they go and do their homework after hours?
Yeah.
So in leafy suburbs, they can go home, they've got aftercare, there's a library facility, there's internet. So what our centers does, these 6 centers we've got around the country, so we've got 4 in Gauteng, 2 in Cape Town. These young people come in, they do their homework there. We've got facilitators that will help them. We also try and monitor their progress and help them through their studying so that they can have ideas of their career. What we're also looking at doing is to say, when they're in grade 8 and they make those subject choices, do they know what the world has got to offer them?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that exposure, you can't make those decisions. So then from the youth development, we take them into what we call skills development towards a career. So really getting them into jobs.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 pillars. And underneath that, what we're saying is that there needs to be a feeding scheme that needs to run with that, because so that's the holistic side. There needs to be a healthcare. Also, what is happening with mum and dad at home, because we can't have this generation developing and be leaving a parent behind. So how do we empower this environment so that this child can grow up understanding what is available to him? Because the difference is a young person growing up in a township and in a leafy suburb is really exposure, understanding that I can become a doctor, that I can become a lawyer, or I can become a TV presenter.
Yeah.
But if they don't understand understand these things, that won't become part of the selection. So part of our program really looks at how do we give them skills, one, how do we bring corporates, as Tracy said, closer to them, so that corporates understand that they're there, can help them through this process, but also give them exposure. And that's really how we bring all of this together, what we call a holistic development model from a cradle to career.
Okay, let's take a very quick break. Tracy will continue after this, and we'll just find out a little bit more about what the organisation does, and also just the type of things that you are teaching them, and just taking them, you train them, but then getting the jobs. How does that work as well? Stay tuned.